So for our final lesson for this week, I'm going to be providing you with a list of historical time periods that you're going to choose from as we begin this unit. So this unit's going to involve some independent research on a time period that you really want to know something about. And once you've done your research, you have enough background information to select a piece of historical fiction that takes place in this time period. So on the next slide, you're going to see a list of the time periods that I have available. And what I mean by available, every time period that's on the list has a collection of historical fiction novels that go with it. So you may be interested in knowing something about the Korean War. Unfortunately, I've not been able to find a lot of books about the Korean War. Maybe you're interested in something that's more modern. The most modern stories that I have relate to the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Hurricane Katrina. But the time periods range from 1609 to the Jamestown colony all the way up to 2005 with Hurricane Katrina. So you do have 400 years of American and world history to think about and to choose. And let's take a look at what we have that you might want to be interested in knowing more about. So you're going to choose one of the following historical time periods that you want to know more about. These time periods represent American and world history, so you're not limited to just American topics. Once you've selected a time period you want to know more about, then you're going to think about what you already know about this time period. Think about what you want to know about this time period, and then you're going to do some research where you're going to report out on what you've learned. So the assignment that will go with this is called a KWL chart. K standing for what you know, W, what do you want to know, and L, what have you learned. So here are the list of the time periods, starting with 1609 in Jamestown Colony, the Salem Witch Trials, colonial America, which means the colonies before the United States became a country, the Revolutionary War, the war that allowed us to become a country. Following that, we have westward expansion and the pioneer days, the American Civil War, along with it stories about slavery, immigration to America, particularly from Asian countries and the Irish, moving to America in great quantities. Then we have World War I, which is a worldwide event, as well as the Great Depression and World War II. Part of World War II, we have the Holocaust. Following that, we have the Civil Rights Movement in the United States, where African Americans fought for their rights to vote and be equal. And following that, we have stories on the Vietnam War, then 9/11, and the war in Iraq, the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and finally Hurricane Katrina. So your task as we go through this lesson is think about one of these time periods you really are interested in, and then you're going to jot down anything and everything that you think you know about it. What do you want to know about it? And what you want to know can be anything from who was involved, what were the series of events, what did it look like, what did people wear. There is really no limit to what you want to know. And then you'll use the what you want to know questions to help you start some research and reporting out on what you learned about your selected time period. So this is your KWL chart. So what you're going to list is what time period did you choose, the name of it. You're going to need to find out what are the date or dates that your time period is involved with, and location, where, what country, what city, what state. If it's a specific city like the Salem Witch Trials, where is Salem? If it's more global, like World War II, then be more general. So what continents, maybe what countries are you interested in? Then under the no column, what do you already know about your time period? If you don't know one single thing about it, but you're really interested in knowing more, just write, I don't know anything, I want to know more. Then for the next category, the want. This is where you develop a series of questions for research. What do you want to know about your time period? And what you want to know is 100% up to you. So this needs to be done in question form: who, what, where, why, when, how. And then the most important part is once you have established a series of questions that you want to know about, and one question will always lead to another. So the amount of things you want to know is limitless. So please don't just limit yourself to 3 or 4 questions. So then lastly, as you answer your questions, what did you learn about your time period? So I know these columns are small, but the next page is a full page for adding more of what you've learned. So here again, you're going to be jotting down bulleted notes, or just, this is your note taking. This is not to create a final draft at this point, but this is your notes, what you learned about your time period. And this last slide, because we are going to be doing research, you're going to be using this source, and it's called Scribbr.com, and you'll be using the citation tools that I've highlighted. Scribbr.com allows you to record the name of all of the sources. None of the information that you're going to be learning is going to be stuff that comes out of your head, so you are going to be asked to cite your sources, whether it's an encyclopedia, a website, maybe a personal interview, somebody that was there, a newspaper article, a magazine. So use the citation tools to help you keep track of where you found your information. We will be doing a works cited page, otherwise known as a bibliography, because this is a research-based part of our historical fiction unit. So this will have quite a few days to work on research, but really start focusing on what is it you want to know more about. That's critical to the success of this project. So good luck.